What's going on, y'all? My name is Joltage, and today we're back with the LCUU pod. No recap this time because LPL 6 is over. Congrats to the Riolas, by the way, who did take it home despite dropping their last UU match. But they were able to take home the championship. But anyway, without games to discuss, we're here to talk about another fairly important thing that happened over the week, which was the April tier shifts, and they were pretty impactful for the tier. We gained 4 mons and lost 2 of them. You can see the whole on your screen right now of what we gained and lost, but we're gonna first talk about the things we lost, starting with Woobat. Woobat not only is gone from LCUU now, but is gone from LC in general thanks to the suspect test that just concluded. It was banned really quickly once voting went up, and it was just the Grassy Seed with Calm Mind, supported by Grookey, was just annoying and no one liked it, so we got rid of it. And I say good riddance. Woobat obviously didn't matter for UU outside of very... Yeah. Thank you, Kip. I know you voted. I didn't even pretend to try to get Rex. Don't know what JC did. Yeah.
I did not fuck the small.
I mean, I have enough suspects for DC now, so it was sort of important.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That makes sense. Actually, I just realized I didn't introduce y'all at all. This vid.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. I was like, well.
Yeah. So. Anyway, we've got you've heard him talk now. We've got Kip, LCU tier leader as usual, and we've got JC, just the 3-man trio here today, talking through.
You saw tour's over. You're done with us? Nope.
Yeah. Nah, we're back again once again. But yeah, my bad, guys. I got right into the groove and just forgot to intro. But it's fine. Woobat obviously doesn't matter a whole lot. I did get a win with it in LPL 5 using manual grassy terrain with Cottony. And that was like a somewhat viable strat in UU, but it didn't get any usage this past LPL and wasn't really a huge thing. What was a huge thing and is a major loss for us is the loss of Natu. Natu was a very important member of the LCUU metagame previously, and we lost it thanks to Rampant Cheese up in LCOU. Thanks a lot, where Natu is used as a screener because it can't be defogged on, and gets them up pretty well.
It's naturally fast and has teleport, has T-Wave, all the right things.
Yeah. It does a job. We didn't use it so heinously down here, where it was a just great Gloomon on a lot of constructions between Psychic and Heatwave, and then Giga Drain on a lot of sets, U-Turn on some other sets. We saw a lot of different uses of Natu, and I'm definitely gonna miss it when building in this tier.
I'm not, but yeah, I was personally on the Natu was like not very good for the meta, but yeah, that was just me, so I understand it.
I mean, I was considering it as a unhealthy Pokemon, but ultimately decided against it. But I do see where you're coming from, but obviously Natu was really good. I already played 1 game against Albinson post Natu shifts, and he immediately websed me and won the game because of that. So Webs is good again.
Yeah, Natu's Magic Bounce was a big deterrent for Webs, who really fell off, as we mentioned in our final week's recap, just kind of going over the previous meta. So Natu is gonna be missed. That Magic Bounce deterring Webs, just
and just the offensive presence that it brought to like the only real, and this is one of a shafty real word was Qfan, who got chokeout by Heatwave. The rest of the tier, and Stunky, but that was something you can hard switching, especially if you are offensive, because if you get burned, you are done with. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean Munchlax could, but Munchlax could also get you turned out on into your Panchins and things like that. Natu had the ability to. I mean, they're stunky, obviously, but again, the U-turn thing comes into play. I don't know what I'm gonna do as a part of my fight check core now. We'll figure it out.
You can go 1-4 again. That's an option.
Yeah. But yeah, R.I.P. Natu. You will be missed. Hopefully you come back and OU stops being lame. But let's talk about the Mons we did get. We got Archon, Drillbur, Dwebble, and Scorbunny. Scorbunny and Dwebble making their returns. Yeah. And Scorbunny.
And
Scorbunny.
Scorbunny just didn't really have
I didn't get to play the Scorbunny meta because it realized by the time I was a bit dead. So I didn't get to use Scorbunny back when it was.
It wasn't that relevant back then because it didn't have Libero, but it's back for the first time since gaining that ability, and that should be interesting. Why don't we just start off talking about Scorbunny? Scorbunny is a pretty cool Pokemon with Libero, which allows it to change its type into whatever move it goes for, so it just has stab on everything. And it's got a decent little move pool to abuse with that, between things like high jump kick, sucker punch, U-turn, acrobatics, its actual fire stab, and like blaze kick or flame charge if you want. You could go double edge. There's quite a few options. Yeah, gunk shot.
There's also one shot, and there's one important mode that it allows it to not be omega walled by any freelies on Assurance.
Yes, your 60 base power assurance. That's really going to be.
That two outs goes. I calculate it.
Does it? Okay.
Yeah, it does. Let me.
Okay. I was unaware of that, but if it does, I mean that's definitely good because Furlish is definitely a problem for Scorbunny. Otherwise, actually, bulky waters in general are, as it lacks a real way to deal with them, unless you wanted to run something bad like Electro Ball with like agility, but that's doing too much at that point. But yeah, Scorbunny is cool. It hits that 17 speed tier. It also could hit 17 attack if you go with an adamant nature, and 17 is obviously, well, maybe not obviously, but it is a break point a lot of times for better rolls on attacking Mons, especially if you want to go with the Life Orb set. You do get better rolls with it, but you probably want to go with Jolly on your Scorbunnies.
Especially if you look at these new drops. Yes, 17 seems mad important right now.
Yeah, 17. Yeah. The 17 speed tier did get a lot more crowded with these new drops, but I'm pretty excited to see what Scorbunny can do here. I expect it to be quite good on Volt turn teams, obviously with the U-turn, just being able to pivot in and out throughout the game. Hopefully rocks aren't as big an issue as they might otherwise be. We have generally pretty decent removal in the tier, so we'll just have to see how that goes.
To throw rocks down very often.
Exactly.
Up until this point. I do think Scorbunny is absolutely insane. Maybe broken. We'll have to look at that. But it's just so difficult to switch into. I don't even think you need the fire stab because Blaze Kick is honestly pretty weak and you have good coverage.
I'm kind of disappointing on the damage it outputs when using Blazic. Like, you are better just row you turning most of the times.
Yeah, and like other main issue I think with it is that I was hoping you could Sucker Punch, turn into a Dark type, and then deter a status move of Cottonee, but if you fail because they use a status move, you don't transform into a Dark type, so that unfortunately doesn't work.
That is good to know. So just hit Cot with the gunk shot or the fire move or the acrobatics if you're running it. But yeah, no.
U-turn, it's gonna do a chunk.
Yeah, I don't think Scorbunny is too worried about what Cot's doing in general. Yeah.
Another thing that is going to matter a lot for Scorbunny is that Sand is going to go get a steam up on usage since we got Drillboard, and I personally expect people to run Sand a lot more. But
I mean,
and this means
yeah, but
Hippopotas who would check Scorbunny pretty decently. Then
Oh,
again, I'm not
yeah,
saying Sang is broken or nothing, and we can talk about this later when we get to the report. It was just to say Hippopotas is probably going to get more usage, which is kinda bad for Scorbunny.
definitely fair. Definitely fair.
hmm
Speaking of Sand and Drillbur, we got Drillbur's making its all-time LCU debut. Every other Mon here has been LCU
Wait,
before
wait,
in
Yeah,
wait.
its life, but
It was
Drillbur,
in LCQU at some
it's
point
been
in Gen
about
7, right?
time.
not while I was here, and therefore it
Okay.
wasn't.
No, we didn't have it on Gen 7.
Okay. Sure. Whatever.
Um, and obviously Drillbur comes down, and it's going to be immediately compared to Sandshrew, who is a top Mon in our previous metas. They both have Sand Rush. They're both pure ground. They both can spin. So the natural comparison is obvious. But what Sandshrew makes up has in just general bulk on Drillbur, hitting like 16 defense really easily. Drillbur has a bit more attack power to work with 85 base attack. It also has quite a bit more speed, hitting that very crucial 17 speed tier. I think seeing which of the two teams go for is going to be an interesting thing to monitor moving forward. Drillbur can obviously run Sand Rush on the Sand teams, or even Sand Force if you wanted to, for some real power, akin to the Diglett A set. Which I think might be a little interesting. But on non-Sand teams, I think Moldbreaker could be really interesting. Obviously, it's not as good as it would have been had Natu remained in the tier. But we might be able to see some use out of that on your non-Sands, though Sand Rush might just be the best ability here because of an expected prevalence of Sand. How do you guys view Drillbur in general, and then in comparison to Sandshrew, who has proved to be a great Mon in the meta?
Wanna start yourself, Kip?
Well, I find it interesting that you compare the two because I don't think they fulfill the same role at all. And while I agree you wouldn't run both on the team because they look very similar, I think, well, Drillbar's extra attack and extra speed immediately tie it into a much more offensive role than Sandshrew ever will be, even though it also gets sword stance and can boost its speed. It's just generally more of a Mon that tanks a hit and then dishes one out than Drillbur, which is really a lot more frill.
Mm-hmm.
I'm also not too hot on it myself, mainly because it didn't get knockoff, which means especially Pump Kubu, but also Frillish kinda spin blocks it reasonably well, especially on webs when its superior speed isn't as relevant. So, I don't know. I haven't tested with it extensively yet, but I'm not too convinced it's going to be great.
I can definitely see where you're coming from there. Though I do want to point out Drillbur has Shadow Claw if it comes down to it.
Okay.
I don't know how much damage that's doing necessarily, but it can hit them super effectively. Obviously not as strong as Nock does, but it does have some tools to work with.
That's fair.
Yeah.
I hadn't considered Shadow Claw yet.
Yeah. JC, why don't you give us your thoughts on the mole?
Yeah, I mean, the mall of course is going. I get the comparison, but I don't think you are. If you want to have a bulkier mon, you go to you pilot to Sandshrew, and if you want the offensive pressure, you go to Drillboard. This just I think they both are going to be like super top mons. In and outside of Sand, both are amazing, but it just depends on if you want to have the offensive pressure, or if you want to to rather direct yourself to a more bulkier with rocks or kind of things. Regarding the mold breaker thing, an insight it could have is yes, we lost Natu, so you don't use it for that, but you could get past some sturdy mons or abilities like stick hold or that. So yeah.
I guess. I mean,
Obviously,
have one
Sunrush is
new
going to
relatively
be
sturdy
the
Pokemon.
preferred.
Let's see. We don't really have that many relevant sturdy mons outside of
Well,
one in particular we're
yeah,
about
we
to
have
get
Dwebble.
to.
Well,
But
we just got one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I was
it's,
mainly referring to that one, but
Yeah.
we also
Yeah.
have like Tyrant and Aaron, I
You hit
guess.
Bronzer.
Oh yeah, and Bronthor, which could get back. Not gonna lie. Now that meta could get a bit more bulky, Bronthor could get back in usage. I'm not saying it because I didn't test it and I didn't even thought about it, but I could see it happening.
I'd be surprised.
We also it also works for Baltot Levitate. I don't know. It definitely has things to break off.
Yeah,
absolutely.
unfortunate thing for Drillbur in regarding to Dwebble is Rock Slide doesn't KO, so not super
At class 2
relevant.
doesn't KO.
Well, not neutral. Like if you lead with it
it's,
against.
it's just
Oh,
as
yeah.
strong as Earthquake, right?
No, it's stronger than Earthquake, but
Yeah, Rock is like stronger.
Okay, then
unless
LC rolls, I suppose.
Unless you're
it's
adamant, in which case
75
Earthquake has higher rolls, which is weird.
Yep,
But,
I'll see calc moments.
Yeah. You could run like Life Orb Drillbur, which I think could be pretty good on like a sand team in particular. And you've got a shot at it at that point. Actually, you got a pretty solid shot at it if you're like Life Orb against like and you lead with it. Like it's just a pure 1v1. Obviously at +2 you're killing, but yeah. So that's something to keep in mind for sure. But yeah, no. In terms of like my thoughts on the Drillbur Sandshrew thing, obviously they're not like the same, like completely, but they do share a lot of similar traits between Rapid Spin. The ability to set Stealth Rocks if you want to. I don't think either of them are. I don't think setting Stealth Rock is either of their best roles, but that might just be me. But obviously, just the Sand Rush ability, they're just an easy It's an easy comparison to make. I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Sandshrew is still probably a little better for how the meta has been previously, at least. I think the ability to eat a hit is more relevant than hitting that 17 speed tier, but I could be proven wrong. And we'll just have to monitor
it also just
that
gets knockoff and
moving forward.
knockoff fantastic.
Yeah, that is definitely something we shouldn't be overlooking. But anyway, let's move on to Dwebble now, since we mentioned it during the Drillbur section. Actually, Dwebble was here in LPL 5 along with Pony G and things, and it didn't really do that much. It wasn't used a ton. It just kind of didn't make a huge impact on the meta, though it definitely had the ability to. It's still a good Pokemon, both in terms of its Smash sets, which it obviously has access to with Sturdy Juice. You could run like Rock Blast, Earthquake, pick a fourth move, usually knockoff. Or you could just set hazards with either Sturdy Juice or the Weak Armor set. I think Dwebble should be better this time around, especially with no Natu around, in terms of like worrying about having to bounce back the hazards. So Natu's not really the best Dwebble answer, if we're being honest. But yeah, no, I think Dwebble's going to be interesting. Have y'all messed with Dwebble much so far, at least?
I didn't.
Go ahead.
You want to? Okay. I did, and before I get to my experience on this meta, I wanted to mention that the last time, which was LPL 5, which you mentioned, um, Dubel got used 11 times up to week 7. I couldn't get semifinals nor finals stats, and I did got less than 30% win rate. This said, uh,
Oof.
I also remember everyone being freaked out about being swept by the Eagle, and everyone was over preparing for it. So yeah, about my new thoughts on it, I think nothing really changed because yes, we don't have Pony G, but and Natu, but that's the only things that changed from that meta. We still have Shellos and Pancham, which were the two months everyone was using to check Jubel, and Shanshu is even more used than it was back then. So I don't know. It could it could still be very good, but screens offense are lost Natu, so you are going to be directed into Baltoy again. Um, I don't know.
No.
It on
I'm
my
running
on my
Sobbles.
which is not very good. In my experience right now, like Jubel is okay, but as a sweeper, it just doesn't get much success so far.
Yeah, it definitely needs things chipped to really make hay with the Smash set. But you know, against unprepared teams, obviously Smash can go kind of crazy. I think the Hazard set is going to be really
Yeah,
nice to have because like as the LPL season wore on, we saw less and less like people actually getting up rocks, and I think Dwebble is one of those months that can just guaranteed get up hazards if you need to, which could be pretty neat for more like hazard focused builds. You know, we can't really run boots very effectively in LC, so the fact that hazards weren't making a huge impact was somewhat surprising to me, at least. I mean, obviously, I can see why, but like, I think there's a place for them in what I mean to get at.
yeah,
Yeah.
Well, for the Smash set, I don't think a lot changed. What's better is, like we said, there's not a lot of hazards, even though we got 2 new decent hazard setters in Dwebble and Archer, which we're going to talk about. What's a lot worse for it is that Corfish is in the tier right now,
Mm-hmm.
and Corfish has a super effective priority move for it.
That it
And,
does.
well,
yeah.
since Corfish wasn't in the tier last time Dwebble was legal, I think it's going to be a bit worse than it used to be, but obviously it's a 16 speed Pokemon with decent bulk and knockoff. It can't be that bad.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
I think Dwebble will be a solid Pokemon for sure in the meta. I don't expect it to be broken or anything. I expect it to just kind of
No,
do the job.
I don't think it's going to be broken.
Yeah.
But yeah, also the thing you said about the hazards and getting less up, the more we got into the farther we got into LPL, is mainly because everyone was just assuming how offensive the meta was, and not to existed. So people were rather attacking than clicking rocks most
Natsu
of the
Gun is
time.
definitely big for hazards.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. For sure.
We could also see Trubis getting more usage now that Natu is gone, which was like one of the big reasons big why Trubis, which was the best spiker we had, wasn't really being used.
Yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it's definitely.
Trubbish doesn't exactly match up that well against any of the new drops either.
It can
Well-
fight Score Bunny.
I guess
can
the
also-
score bunny just hits it and then U-turns out.
Yeah, but it sets a spike on the U-turn, and then what?
Yeah, I guess. But okay, so it matches
Yeah.
up against one of the four.
Yeah. No, I'm not
I mean,
saying
it
it's.
also
that's-
matches
that's fair.
against.
I'm not saying
It
it's
also
looking good
matches
for
against Double if it doesn't have EQ. Which
but I'm
with
always
the
running
Hazard
EQ.
set doesn't.
With hazards, it's not
I'm never
necessarily.
Would you
EQ.
run EQ on the Hazard set?
It depends on
Yeah,
if you've got spikes on that. Really, because you're gonna have like knock and rock blast.
I'm dropping rock blast before earthquake.
Really? Okay. Even
Okay, that's
maybe-
one of
maybe
an
not.
interesting take.
On second thought, maybe not, but it's not something you can mindlessly play into.
I mean, yeah, but I didn't say it auto sits
No,
on Double. It just
That's
you
fair.
you
That's
obviously
fair.
got a scout for the EQ.
Mhm.
But
But
yeah.
anyway, let's finally move into our last mon, and this is a mon that I think should be excellent. We've got Archon. Archon was an S like minus tier mon last generation when it was in LCUU, and it's back, baby, and it looks great. It's got like so many options. It can basically do whatever it wants. Between its stabs, its coverage, it can set rocks, it can knock off, it can U-turn, it can tailwind, it can taunt, it can do whatever. Like, Archon looks insane. Though I haven't seen it much in practice yet, obviously. Yeah. Have you guys?
Archon is fantastic.
Yeah.
I've played with it a little. It's super hard to switch into games. You basically need pivoting all the time for it. But when it just does whatever it wants, and the only thing holding it back is that it only has 4 move slots because it wants to do it all. It just can't really run rocks, knock off, both stabs, heat wave, U-turn, taunts, and earthquake at the same time.
Yeah. And that's ignoring other more niche options like Aqua Tail or
Or
things like
tailwind.
that, or Tailwind, or things like that. Archon looks excellent though. It should be very good moving forward here. The 17 speed tier is obviously great. You're tying with other mons like Joltik or things that can like actually threaten you, like Joltik. Obviously, you have to worry about like Cortfish's Aqua Jet, even Tortuga's Aqua Jet. If Tortuga makes a rise from its previous slot, which I think could be possible, given that
It
everything
could be
we got is
possible,
weak
but
to water.
I'm not too positive on it.
Yeah, I mean these are things we'll definitely need to see as time goes. But yeah, no, Archon should be excellent here.
I mean, technically, Archon literally decides what one mon doesn't check it. That's like literally it, because I didn't even thought about Bronzer, but if you don't have hit wave, Bronzer hard walls you.
Oh,
Unless
really?
you
It
are
walls
using
knockoff?
knockoff.
you don't need going to do a million. But yeah.
I didn't know Bronzer or walled knockoff. That's news to me.
Well, yeah, I forgot that. Yeah, I literally can't think like what does switching on dual wind rock blast EQ knockoff.
Well, anything with berry juice switches into dual wing beat.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, one time. Then what?
Then you just pray. I don't know.
yeah.
You set up stealth rocks and you get it into defeater's range.
Yeah. You
It's kind of funny that defeat is just like the last of Archon's weaknesses because it just gets OHKO'd anyway, but it deals
Yeah.
a fuck ton of damage before it even gets hit. So who cares?
Yeah. Yeah, Archon's got a lot going for it. The only thing it doesn't have going for it is Defeatus, which has both its attack and its special attack. So no trying to get around it with fully special Archon. Speaking of fully special Archon, anyone going to be running Meteor Beam? No? Just me?
Oh no. Oh no! But if you power her Meteor Beam,
Yeah, man.
you free up acrobatics.
Exactly.
Yeah, I used that. I used that already. And on words of let me quote the one I tested it with. You motherfucker! This set is devil.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah, no, that's exactly what we like to hear. Yeah, no, that sounds like a really fun set. You can even run something like agility or something if you really wanted to. I've run agility before.
I don't know. The options on Arcane are like extremely large, and they all are very, very good. So yeah, we could be theorying which set is the best, but we would make a video of 2 hours about Sargent, so not the best.
Oh yeah, you're definitely right about that. Archon's cool, but we've kind of sprinkled a little bit of discussion throughout on what we think got pretty good, what we like what's better now with these changes, mentioning things like Trubbish, mentioning other like Courtfish, other bulky waters as beneficiaries of these shifts. Do we have any other mons we want to highlight as winners or even losers?
I made a list about them, but if Gib made a list too, then go ahead. Or if you have any,
I didn't make a big list. I have one Pokemon on my list, and it's Pancham. Pancham stays winning. Not to Scun. There's no more good fighting checks.
Yeah, Pancham's definitely re-cementing itself as a good mon.
Yeah, and not only this, but Sand being better, unless Hail gets mad usage to counter Sand, then Krong can still be used somehow. I don't see why right now Krong is still phenomenal, but I don't see why you wouldn't use on more bulkier teams Pancham over anything, over any other fighting. Like Pancham is just so good. It takes a lot. It doesn't have real switchings and more breaker sets on dribble. It's so good, and it lost the main check it has. So yeah.
Yeah, no, Pancham, huge winner. Another mon I want to point to as a loser that I forgot to mention in my post I made on the forums is Qfint, who loses to all of the drops.
Oh,
so bad.
Qfint was not very happy on the last on the last meta, but dude, poor Qfint is sad about these drops.
Scarf Qfint's
offensive Scarf is still usable, I guess, but
that's not what you want to be using Qfint.
You are not going to see that at all.
Yeah,
okay.
I just think Qfint's in a much worse spot.
It's got worse. It's got way worse. I totally agree.
Another one I wanted to point. I mean, you guys already mentioned it a couple times, but Corfish got insanely good with these drops.
Yeah, no, I agree. Courtfish's Aqua Jet has insane value right now.
Yeah. Before we knew the drops, it was already going to be very good because of how the meta was looking after Carpana was gone. But now that now that we got the new drops, Corfis Aqua Jet is going to be supreme for everything.
You know, you already mentioned Tortuga. Do we have any other good Aqua Jet Pokemon besides those two? I can't seem to think of any.
Kabuto can, I think.
Yeah, wait. We didn't talk about wait, never mind. Kabuto was already on the tier. I don't know why I forgot Kabuto was on the tier.
Yeah,
I even
Kabuto's
used
can.
Kabuto in this LPL.
Oh, don't remind us.
Oh yeah. No, scrap that. Cute. Insert this technical problem in this, please.
No, yeah, no.
I have no idea what we said last minute.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it. But yeah,
Kabuto's got a pretty decent attack stat to use if you want to use it with that Aqua Jet as well. So that's definitely an option. But other than that, there are other.
I think it also loses with this tier, with this shift. Ironically enough, even though
somewhat.
Aqua Jet is good.
Somewhat,
Yeah.
yes. If you can live the if you can live attack and get that speed boost, you're threatening everything that dropped. So it depends on
but I
things.
think that Dwebble is generally the superior weak armor abuser as of right now.
Probably. I don't actually have a whole lot of experience with weak armor Dwebble. I should really give that more of a shot, actually.
me neither. So yeah. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, neither have I. They haven't been LCU at the same time yet, I don't think. I don't remember it being the case, at least. So we'll have to see how it plays out. But yeah, I think the main use of Kabuto pre-shift was the fact that it switched into Meowth's fake out and then just went off as it pleased. But Dwebble has an extra hazard to set. It has the Shell Smash to be more threatening. It has Earthquake. I don't think Kabuto gets Earthquake.
Kabuto does not.
No, it gets Earthquake.
So yeah,
but not Earthquake.
The only thing that keeps it somewhat relevant is that the water stat that's really good right now. But overall, I think it slightly loses out where it already wasn't very popular.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a good shout. Kabuto is an LCRU-mon, as you know, so it's not like it was a completely relevant mon to us previously. But yeah, I just, it is a Aqua Jetmon, which was how we got onto it in general. One mon that I think might have been flowing under the radar a little bit is that might have slightly low-key benefited from the shift is Helioptile, actually. I've seen it a lot more now post-shift than I had been previously. With Surf being able to really threaten all of the drops and just the dry skin helping out with that expected rise in Corpfish and things usage. Helioptile low-key got a little bit better here. So that's definitely interesting to see. It's fun to see more competition in the electric type sphere, I think. Speaking of which, by the way, the room tour is going on right now if you guys want to watch that at all. But
yeah, I will
we can
watch
put it
that.
on in the background.
Yeah, I've been I've been
also
doing it.
think this is the first time this generation that Scarf isn't the best set for Helioptile. I don't know why I feel this way, but I don't know. In the games I've played so far, I've always felt like, damn, I really want to choose between the Surf and the Volt Switch every turn in this game, but I can't because I'm Scarf. And
I feel that, actually. I just find, yeah. No, I understand where you're coming from there. You really want to be able to switch up moves on your Helioptile at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
And having access to glare is...
yeah, we haven't explored Claire very much
There is.
before the end of
I faced.
last season.
I faced
Yeah.
no, tell.
I mean, yeah, Galera's just been underexplored to this point on it because Scarf has generally been the better set. Wow, that's a bulky score bunny. What the hell? Really, how much damage that takes? I mean, I know it's EVO, but jeez.
I mean,
You maybe
that's
it was the
probably
zero attack Maggie.
for maybe it's negative match points. I don't know. Jesus. Wait, hold up. Yeah, Albinson lost. Anyways,
Wow.
I'm.
Oh.
Never mind. Speed time. Yeah. Another thing I was going to say a couple minutes ago. You always mentioned Meowth, and I had it on the list because I personally think Meowth is a loser from this shift. Meta is technically looking like it's getting bulkier, and I don't think Meowth likes that at all.
No.
I mean, of course, it's going to still be good and still going to be a good mon to use, but meta getting bulkier means Meowth likes that less. Of course,
with the new
we need to.
we
Yeah.
can run water pulse on your Meowth.
That's definitely something to consider.
Yeah. But
it.
then, what do you drop? Do you drop U-turn?
I
Or
think you
not,
might drop
probably.
Feint at this point.
Or
I
Feint,
think,
yeah.
like you say, the meta is bulkier than it used to be, so the free damage you get from Auto Feint isn't as big as it used to be. So, yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably the move you drop right now, but who knows? Maybe you don't drop anything at all, and Water Pulse turns out to be not as effective as it seems to be because recency bias and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
that's
possible.
true.
It'll be definitely something to experiment with moving forward. I'm sorry, I'm actually playing in this tour right now in the final.
Yeah,
visit.
I'm seeing you.
Do you have anything on the
Anyways,
list?
another. I still have two Pokemon that I wanted to point out, and those are Kotsoni.
Mhm.
We've been saying how Kots was like almost mandatory in every team, but not very good. And I think it's getting better with this meta, but
Mhm.
I don't think the the less put a random poison coverage and there you go change much for COD, to be honest.
I mean, Argent can probably OHKO it if it wants to, with Flying Stab. Score Bunny can pack Gunk Shot. Drillbur can run Poison Jab.
Poison
So
Jab,
the only Pokemon of the new ones that it counters is Dwebble. Especially the Shell Smash sets aren't going to be happy about the Prankster Anchor that Tani often packs.
yeah, but in if let's say I'm saying this because I'm seeing Joel Touch using Sand right now, as people in their house can see on the screen.
Mhm.
But if you face Sand, you probably are some SD set because I doubt you go all out attack on Sand. Or I mean I wouldn't, but I don't know. Maybe it's an option. But
Yeah,
if you want
you
the
wouldn't do that,
you
right,
want
Joltage?
you want the EQ, uh, and then you have two moves.
Yeah.
You kinda need the knockoff because LC moment.
Drillbur doesn't get knockoff.
And, I was thinking about Escorial. Well, it was.
You need Rock Slide, I guess.
Yeah, rock
Yeah,
slide
he needs
is.
rock slide, and then you want.
Gotcha, bitch. Anyway.
Okay, that.
Good turn, good turn.
I used this set on when I played him in LPL, and I didn't get to. And it didn't work out because he brought a Helioptile. I'm very happy that happened.
This is La Remontada, but for Joltage. So what were we talking about again? Oh yeah, right, Cudney. So yeah.
Oh yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. See, perfect example on. Perfect example. Thank you, Joltex, for the live example.
Of course, we gotta. I mean, Cottony is still as exploitable as ever with the. Wow, he went for Volt Switch there? What?
Joltex, please.
That's insane. Who doesn't Giga?
Anyways,
yeah.
What's the last Pokemon on your list?
Yeah, let's move on because, yeah, the other Pokemon I had was wait a second, I need to recover us.
Sorry, what did you say?
I'm still laughing, so give me a second, please.
Okay.
Of course. So, Joel, that you pointed out Larvesta in your posts.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about that for a bit? Because I don't think much changed for it.
It was honestly, I wanted a non-poison type to include in that losers section because the previous two examples were, and that was the first one that came to mind. I mean, it loses to Archon. It doesn't like being outsped by Drillbur, who's always going to be running the rock coverage because that's just its best coverage. Dwebble obviously beats it, and then I mean, Scorbunny's a wash, but it's not like that's a particularly big win for Larvesta. It's not like you can you burn the Scorbunny if it U-turns on you?
That's a good question. I think you should be able to.
That would make sense to me, but I'm really not sure. Magby is still excellent, by the way.
You do. I think you do because I remember that interaction happening with Greninja last time.
I mean, you say Magby's still excellent, but you faced none of the rock types that I knew in this game.
Hey, I've got Thunder Punch for Archon.
Yeah, that's true. I've also not heard you complain about being counter-teamed, so it's probably good. Also, fix your life or buy fees, dude.
Oh, really? They weren't fixed?
Yeah. Anyways, I recovered myself, so...
Okay.
The one Pokemon that also loses, and it's a poison type mon, Stunky doesn't really like these drops.
No, Stunky hates them. That's definitely true.
Yeah. Because not only all of them threatening, well, yeah, but you can't do much to them back, and you won't outcall, and all of them can kill you.
All right, we come home with the victory. Drillbur did nothing that the Sandshrew couldn't have also done this game, but it picked up the victory.
I mean,
that's how we do.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
Yeah, Stunky is a bit worse.
Yeah, for sure, Stunky's worse.
I think it still has a niche in the fact that it's probably the best hazard removal against web steams because you can't stop its defog from hitting once it gets a move.
Counterpoint. Sandshrew can just
very annoying to it, but
counterpoint. Sandshrew can just spin on Grubbin indefinitely. Or if you're SD, you just set up on Grubbin and it's over.
Yeah, but if the rocks hit the field and then you get into a spin blocker and then you Will-O-Wisp call the Sandshrew, I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's tough
There's
because it can be
there's
blocked.
some
but-
perks Stunky has over Sandshrew. It's not much, and it loses out. I do agree. I just wanted to point it out.
Yeah. I mean, Sandshrew can obviously be blocked, particularly by Pumpkaboo if you get turns wrong. Also Frillish if you get turns wrong. You have to play it correctly, basically, when using Sandshrew. Webs are obviously a huge winner, and we'll probably see more of that. What slow, bulky things do we have in the tier to abuse said webs? I think Archon will be a good webs Pokemon, not that it's slow, but, it's immune to them and can kill everything. Cortfish, obviously. Pancham.
I mean, you still have the standards web team that both Albinson and I made at the same time, which is kind of funny.
Oh yeah, for sure. That one still has Stunky on it. Stunky probably does fine on that still.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just there to make sure the fog doesn't ruin your life.
True. But yeah. I still think defog
which we
is.
may see a resurgence of.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
It's not great for COD, but like we said, Stunky's likely going to be less popular. We don't really have other dark types that are that relevant.
Hey.
It might just be.
I mean, we have Sandile, which
Is
could
Sandile okay?
be used.
Sandal's
It could be.
neutral from
Sandile
this.
is.
But Sandile doesn't exactly do well versus Cottonee.
Oh,
Hey,
well,
man. Say
yeah,
hi to my
I mean,
sludge
you can
bomb
always.
Sandile.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I'm also happy that happiness is not the word because I hate this mod, but why not is back to be usable.
You think so? What is it trapping necessarily? Because
I mean, it
I
traps-
thought not to. Why
It
not? It was
traps
gonna be good
Hippo,
last season.
it can trap, it could trap bulky waters like shells, slowpoke, stuff like that could get some usage. Well, maybe not the slowpoke because it teleports out.
And not Frillish because ghost types can.
No, I said bulky waters, but of course, if anyone has some neurons to think about, of course, a ghost type is to start with is a ghost type. You can't trap it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So it traps Shadows, but
Shellos can
that might be useful.
maybe toxic it and get through
Not
it,
if it
but
runs
I mean, you get
Safeguard.
Encored. Are you running
You
Safeguard?
get Safeguard.
Are you
I
running
mean, you
Safeguard?
could.
I mean,
If you specifically want to trap Shadows, you should be running Safeguard because Shadows is so passive that it should be, or it could be running Toxic.
Yeah.
And
I'm not saying
I don't
it's
think
the
you
best,
ever have
but
the time to set up a Destiny event.
That's fair. That's fair. Destiny Bond is hard to set up for sure. Shellos could yawn you.
Not
So
if
Safeguard, yeah, Safeguard helps with that too. So Shellos can Memento out. So ha.
Oh no. Oh my. Why not?
but
Doesn't
did
hit
you
as hard
win then?
anymore.
Did you
Um,
win
what am I
then?
to do?
It's dead.
Yeah, obviously.
It
I
also
won.
drops Lilith.
Yeah, for the most part.
I don't
Which
think Lilith is a
talking
big
about
win.
Lilith looks very good in this meta. Talking about
You
Um,
think?
It's
I mean-
bulky enough to. I mean, it can live any hit from any of the drops. Basically, it's bulky enough to do so. And most of them have to
doesn't
run
well
you can
specific.
kill them,
jump
man.
kick. High jump kick Scorbunny is a problem.
Yeah.
Archon just U-turns super effectively.
I mean, you just dodge to the left. There's the high jump kick and laugh at him.
Yeah, he could
Oh,
just
no.
turn out as well, but Yeah, I mean,
But yeah.
the Leap's probably in a roughly similar spot that it was. It gets better by virtue of sand getting better. Just
Yeah.
because
that's
it's
true.
pretty decent on sand. And is good against like Corpfish, obviously, who sand teams might be wary of.
Yeah,
Um,
that's what I was saying.
yeah. So I can definitely see the argument. I don't think it's like leagues better or anything, but you know, it seems
Oh no,
relevant.
it's
at
not
least.
mad better. It's just that it has more room to be used because bulkier teams are better and sand is better.
All right.
I think a
I mean, of
major
course, all this is just theory, theory medicine.
interesting.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a more general shift is that previous meta offense was a lot more specially oriented between Joltik, which was very good, Nato being relevant. Now that Nato is gone and we have 4 mainly physical attackers. I think because of that, Munchlax unfortunately gets a bit worse. I hate to say it because JC don't agree with me, but
Yeah, no, I definitely see where you're coming from with that. Yeah, we didn't gain any special attackers with the drops unless you're running special Archon sets, which I mean it can do because it's got set base like 74 special attack. But in general, we didn't get any special attackers, so Munchlax obviously doesn't like that. Pancham being better is bad for Munchlax.
yeah.
Two new users of knockoff is bad. Yeah, no, I agree for sure.
I was checking over the list of Pokemons. Do you always think a Snowbird could get better?
Yes,
I think
but
it's still in the same spot. It threatens everything when it's on a scarf, but it doesn't really switch in.
yeah.
I mean, it's kinda, well, yeah. I guess it's not bulk enough to switch on sand, but yeah.
It's
Eevee
typing is just
Snowbird's
too bad.
cool.
Like, oh yay, it resists earthquake. Now you still rocked by the rock coverage or whatever
Yeah.
they run.
Yeah, Eevee Snover is cool, but it can't really switch into any of the new drops, really.
I mean, it has
Um,
Ice Shard.
yeah, Ice Shard doesn't do a lot,
Yeah.
though. Like,
No, that was more directed to Argent than to Sand, but yeah.
yeah. I mean, with Archon, it's a game of have we knocked it? Has its juice popped already? Because I don't really want to give it this full-powered acro potentially, and then you still like
Oh yeah.
die to the rock move, so it's tough. I don't think Snover's better, other than Hail being good at into sand, if sand's as good as we think it is.
I mean, it looks like it, at least.
Yeah.
Aishu's
Like
probably
on
better.
paper, Sand got a mad buff on paper.
Yeah, I mean, you're never running all 4 Sand Pokemon though.
Yeah,
Like
Aishu
that just
probably
makes
bangs. Under Hail.
that makes you so weak to any Ice type move or Water type move even.
Yeah, definitely something to. Definitely something to keep in mind. I don't really have any other mons I really wanted to highlight. I think we've covered most of them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of mons to talk about, but none of them are like relevant enough. I mean, Mantike could get talked about, but I don't think Mantike is much
Is-
better
Is
than it
Rain
was.
back? By back?
No,
I mean,
not-
was it
not
for the
Rain.
first time?
We said we were not talking about Please Jolted.
Hey, no, you didn't run Rain Mantike. You know, you ran non-Rain Mantike on Rain.
Well, yeah, you're right. Anyways, we said not to talk about that.
Kip's the
Yeah,
Kip's the
I
Rain
think- I
Mantike
think,
guy.
Oh yeah. Well, I lost my seasonal set with Mantike this week. The reason is because my Mantike got crit and frozen by a Ice Punch from Timber. So I'm not too
Yes,
upset
you
about
hate
it.
to see it.
Damn.
Nah, it's fine.
They weren't running Sheer
Mantike
Force
didn't
Timber.
bill.
Yeah, that's unlucky.
But the rest of the LCU meta is we're gonna have to wait how it evolves, which it will evolve with the upcoming LLL.
Yes, the Triple L, the LC lower, the Levy's lower league or something like that. I mean Levi.
Little League.
Little League. That's
Levi's
what it is.
Little League.
Yeah, which is the LCUU RU tour that I've been mentioning, that I've mentioned in the past like 5 videos, or probably not that many, but you know, has LCUU
Last 100
LCRU.
videos.
Yeah. If you missed LCRU the movie, check that out for a intro into what that tier's about. Me and Zero play a bunch of matches and talk about the Mons. It ends with a very beautiful Dratini masterclass. Was a fun time. But definitely definitely stay tuned for coverage on that. I think we could probably weekly recap on those as well, depending on how big that tour is at least. But you know, we'll find a reason to talk. That's for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I
love
can't wait
talking,
to use
even when
to
no one is
use
listening.
another team so you guys can be mad at me.
Oh, don't worry.
I mean, that's one of my hobbies.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I do it, Yuki.
It'll be a fun time, to be sure. But I think we've said everything we need to regarding the shifts. In summary, Archon should be very good. Drober and Dwebble will probably be fine. Score Bunny, less clear on, but is probably quite good. I'm thinking like A plus / S for Archon, A plus for Score Bunny, A minus for Drober and Dwebble. That's just me. Y'all can throw yours out. These are just guesses, by the way, not official. And losing Nacho sucks.
Yeah. I personally am on the Archon S, Drillbur A plus, Double A minus, and Scorbunny. I'm still undecided, and I need to see more Scorbunny action. But if I have to give a rank right now, it could be A for the meantime.
Yeah, I mean, these are just guesses of where I expect them to fall eventually. They're not like right now.
Same.
Yeah, just my feel of meta prediction. You know, I'm not always right. Definitely not always right.
I'm always right, so I'm not gonna guess, because if I guess and I'm wrong, then I'm not always right anymore.
You know what? You don't miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. That's very true. Anyway, we'll see you next time, guys. Bye.
Yeah.
Ciao.
See ya.